everyone. I just posted about the day that I found out that I was diagnosed. Everybody has their own story and their own emotions, but I think so many of us can relate to one another. The bomb that you feel was dropped on you, the unawareness, or hi. Hi everyone, thank you for joining. And I'm just talking about sharing about the day that I found out that I had cancer. I know, there's so many emotions that hit. The biggest one is just the pure shock of it. I went into the doctor that morning to get a diagnosis, to check a biopsy on a lump that I had. Having had, different kinds of benign tumors before, that's all I thought it was. I figured, they would take it out, treat it, and I'd be good to move on. Nobody ever expects to hear the words that they have cancer, and it really does hit like a ton of bricks. I just remember being in complete shock, and there's so much uncertainty. I always say, you don't know what you need to know until you actually need to know it. Nobody is studying or knows what to expect when they're diagnosed with cancer, and it was very overwhelming. It was very confusing, and of course your first resource is usually Googling, and you see all sorts of things there. I was lucky. I hate to use the word lucky because it's not lucky, but I was fortunate that a very close friend of mine had been diagnosed a couple months prior. So she did have doctors lined up and was able to help me with that so that I could schedule and get my appointments going right away. But I even remember that was so confusing to me. I had no idea that there were multiple doctors. I didn't know there was a difference between the oncologist and the breast surgeon, and just how to navigate the beginning of that process. I always say that's the hardest part. You have to get your films and everything before you even get an appointment. So I know that part is really, really challenging, and I'm sure others can agree with that as well. But from that moment, I just remember breaking down. My son was with me when I got the call. He saw me crying, and they were still young at that age, but in terms of talking to my children, I really believed that it was best for me to give them the age-appropriate news that I could, and just bring them along with me so that they could ask their questions. And, when I didn't know, I would tell them I didn't know, but we would find out together. Mom's working with strong doctors and, just really educate them about cancer. They've seen it in other family members as well. It's a really tough thing to differentiate, too, that some are survivable, and there are more and more medicines coming out every day and more treatments. But, I just wanted to share what that initial impact was like for me, and, how quickly I knew I had to turn it around to just get through the diagnosis itself. So thank you everyone for joining. I have my little one over here who needs a little attention. She was my cancer baby. Right, Liv?
Yeah.
She went through chemo with me while I was pregnant. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining. I'll jump on live later, but please DM me with any questions that you have. Love you all.